What up, everyone? It's your boy Red Hawk. It is 9:44 a.m. in the morning on Monday, May 18, 2026. For this video, we're gonna do something different. I am going to divert your attention from stories of toxicity and abuse from my biological father and my stepmother in order to pay tribute to one of my uh, long lost, even though not necessarily uh, departed friends from David Starr Jordan Middle School, Burbank, California. It was a lady friend, and her name was Sohaila. Let's see here. What do I remember about Sohaila? Well, first off, she was of Arab descent, and I think she might have had a little bit of Slavic and Armenian heritage to her. She came from a prominent business family here in Los Angeles. Another thing that I really remember about her prominently was that she, for one, was a member of the choir group, even though I don't know exactly what subgroup she was in. And the second one was that she was a cheerleader during her middle school days. Uh, we haven't seen each other for years, and I don't know where she went. We parted ways back in 2002 by the end of seventh grade. Now, judging from the two nearby high schools here in Burbank, I think she might have gone to either John Boros High School with the majority of our fellow Jordan Cougars, or maybe even Burbank High School, which is near the Burbank Mall. And fast forward to 2026, I don't exactly know where she has been. Just to cut to a little bit of things on my end. Well, I just got done with groceries, and I'm wearing my special Cal Poly Pomona college alumni green and gold thin hoodie. This is because I went for a run before doing my groceries, just so I could wake myself up after a bit of hangover. Now you see, folks, last night I had a little bit of a drink. Now, I am not going to sponsor this particular brand, but I have here in my hand a can of Modelo Chelada Suprema Tropical. The flavor is a mix of guayaba, Mexican guava, and pineapple. And I think this pretty much trumps standalone strawberry, pineapple, and chili and lime flavors. Considering this is something relatively new that I haven't picked up from uh, the groceries as of yet. But I digress. Back to Sohaila. Let's see here. Upon coming to David Starr Jordan Middle School, Burbank, many years ago in 2001, I was smitten by her beauty. Uh, let's just say she came from. She would actually, her appearance would actually make her come from an Arab folktale of sorts, particularly uh, the the Arab princess uh, that was the basis for Princess Jasmine in Disney's Aladdin. I think her name was Badroulbadour. Yeah, and so I would reminisce about the Sohaila's beauty in that face. She has a birthmark on one of her cheeks, and that just sealed my little bit of attraction to her. I could tell you, folks, I could tell you right now that with her being a cheerleader in school, any football player would have been so lucky to have her as a girlfriend. She and I actually uh, had, if I recall, history class under Miss Darley, world history class, and we also took PE simultaneously, but in neighboring classes under two different teachers. I could remember one time when I would turn around and I would look for Sohaila, and then there she was with her black hair tied into a ponytail, and she would just smile and wave at me for some odd reason, for reasons I really couldn't fathom. Even though I was a little fatso, she considered me a reasonably good friend. One time, out of nowhere, I just told her I love her, even though I didn't halfway mean it. And maybe I was just playing around, and surprisingly, she said that she loved me too. Even though, from what I could remember now, it was just a little bit of puppy love, so to speak, and it wasn't really a genuine romance. Just saying for the sake of saying. It was hard to believe that I actually told her that I loved her one time, that time, even though I barely knew her. Hard to believe that she even reciprocated it. She even did some occasional sing-song moments every time she sees me. She would be surrounded with her other lady friends, I think 2 or 3 from the Jordan Choir group, and she would sing, "Do you love me?" in a very beautiful voice, and I would be mesmerized. I wasn't able to say anything. I was just mesmerized on her beauty based on her physical appearance and that of her vocal abilities when it comes to singing. I'm gonna go into a little bit of a darker turn. Come April 2002, we had a good deal of falling out. Long story short, I grabbed her by the side as school ended, and I tried to kiss her on her cheek, and then she pushed me away. I fled from the scene like a guilty crook, trying to run away from the authorities, so to speak. That was like on a Friday, if I recall, and the Monday the following week, everybody in our homeroom was staring as if I had done some, I had just committed something horribly wrong. It was like the eyes of everyone staring at me was like the expression that I would like to call, in British terms, bloody murder. I don't know if YouTube is gonna have a policy regarding such phrase, there you have it. It's a metaphorical term that I would like to use in this particular case, even though nobody involved was harmed or anything. One of the other girls, I'm gonna call her Alice, advised me about the incident and warned me off not to do it again. And for that, I think I'm gonna surmise that Sohaila told her parents about it, obviously, and then the parents called the faculty, particularly the counseling office, in order to have me stand detention during lunchtime that week after. And so I did my time kind of like a in detention. I just sat in an isolated area of the school cafeteria, just eating my food, no one to talk to. I was basically told to just keep quiet and not interact with anybody else for like a good 30 minutes. And when I went home that day, I was halfway through the block. I passed Clark Avenue before going into our old cream yellow and red brick house at 442 North Parish Place. I sat for like what could have been like a couple of hours underneath that small tree that didn't necessarily provide shade under the sun during that particular hot spring day, contemplating on what I had done. I didn't cry. I just sat, staring at the road as cars passed by. I didn't cry. I didn't laugh. I didn't scream. I just went numb, like mentally numb. And when I got home at 442 North Parish Place, I entered through the back door of that old house. And then I rushed through uh, my old bedroom by the kitchen. Of course, my grandfather and my grandmother were there, screaming at the top of their lungs why I did what I did. And I basically told them, I just like Sohaila. And so they proceeded to have me with a really big question. Do you even have money to provide for this girl? And I couldn't answer. All I could think to myself was that no, obviously I didn't have any money because I didn't have a job, and I was 12 years young at the time to even too young and too immature to realize what I had done. And so, after a little bit of a talking to from my grandparents, I just locked the door to my bedroom and I just went to bed without ever taking a shower or reading a book for one of my uh, classes. I just stared at the ceiling, uh, wondering what the hell went wrong. That is until I went to sleep. Little did I know, my eldest uncle, he would have the key to my old bedroom, and then he would just bring me pizza, as if he was some kind of Santa Claus, bringing gifts to children after going down from a chimney. So maybe like a good 3 to 4 hours later, I woke up, and there it was, a plate of pizza by the lampshade. 2 pizzas in order for my uncle to comfort me after experiencing a little bit of a crazy time during that particular period as I was wrapping up spring semester of 7th grade at Jordan Middle School. Looking back at it, I was so wrong to try to steal a kiss from Sohaila back in April 2002. After school, I tried to, yeah. All I can remember was that, yeah, it was just plain wrong. I talked to one of my relatively new lady friends about it, and she told me that, yeah, I had committed a rather horrible offense regarding courtship. And to this day, it haunted me for a bit. Even though now, as I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, telling you about all this is the biggest way that I can heal from this little episode of infraction on my end. I didn't speak to Sohaila afterwards, and to this day, I don't even know where she is. If she even so much watches this, I would like for her to know that I am very sorry about trying to steal a kiss from her during 7th grade. And given a chance, maybe one day I'll see her wherever, and we can actually make peace. Moreover, I also wrote Sohaila a letter of apology, and I am going to read it to all of you. It goes a little something like this. Dear Sohaila, it's been a long time. How have you been? I hope you've been well these past 24 years since we parted from David Starr Jordan Middle School, Burbank, California. I have to ask, where are you now? I hope the place you live in now is much better than in California. I'm hugely writing this letter because I want to apologize to you about trying to steal a kiss from you back in 2002. If you must hear it from me, yes, I paid dearly for it. I got sent to the counseling office to be administered lunchtime detention for it. Moreover, My grandparents chastised me for it, angrily asking if I had the money to provide for you as a potential romantic partner, to which I could only say no inside my head. For what it's worth, it was my fault for ruining a potentially close friendship with you. I remember you singing Do You Love Me out of some famous musical out of nowhere, and I took huge bad advantage of that. I had no right to do that. I shouldn't have done that. Now all I can hope for is that in the next life we'll be good friends, if not necessarily lovers. And so I say shalom, adios, and sayonara. Very sincerely, Reiji Minato, formerly Reginald Panis McHugh. Folks, I hope you've been enlightened about this instance regarding an old lady friend. For some of my future videos, I will be addressing other classmates and shipmates from school and the Navy many years ago, and we'll be reading my personal letters, hypothetical personal letters to them. And if they're watching this, know that I have learned damn well from the lessons of the past. And maybe we could all reconnect at some point in the future again. That being said, that's all I got. I think I've said too much. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, see you later. Red Hawk, out. Peace.